That's where we begin with the latest out of Colorado Springs, where we are learning more about the victims of that deadly nightclub attack.
To honor the 5 people killed, flags at public buildings across the state were lowered to half staff for 5 days. And we've now learned the identities of those 5 victims. They are Kelly Loving, Daniel Aston, Derek Rump, Ashley Paugh, and Raymond Green Vance. The suspect has now been arrested on suspicion of 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of bias-motivated or hate crimes. For more, we are joined by NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson, who's in Colorado Springs. Priscilla, good morning to you. So we now know the names of the 5 people who were killed in the attack. What more can you tell us about them and how they're being remembered?
Well, Joe, good morning. One way that they're being remembered is by this memorial that we have seen growing over the past several days as people come here to pay their respects. And we're also learning more about those 5 people who were killed. Kelly Loving today is being remembered by her family as someone who was just a loving and caring person. Daniel Aston, one of the bartenders who worked here, being remembered as someone who lit up a room, who loved 80s hair and funky wigs. Derek Rump, also a bartender who worked here. His friends describing him as someone who was sassy and brutally honest, but of course, that's what they all loved about him. And Ashley Paugh is being remembered today by her high school sweetheart, being described as a loving wife and mother. She leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter. And Raymond Green Vance was here with his girlfriend celebrating a friend's birthday, and his family remembering him as someone who was kind and selfless, a young man with his whole life ahead of him, they said. And so still so much grief here as we continue to learn more information and people begin to think about how to move forward after this tragedy. Joe?
So important to hear those tributes, Priscilla. Thank you so much for that. Now, I mean, police have said this attack could have been much worse if it wasn't for brave patrons who actually stopped the shooter. We now know that included a military veteran, Richard Fierro. And Priscilla, you spoke with him. I mean, what did he tell you?
Yeah, Fierro served 4 tours across Iraq and Afghanistan, and he spoke to reporters last night from his front yard. His daughter was sitting in a wheelchair on the front porch, recovering from injuries that she sustained trying to escape the shooting. And he says that when he was inside the club, he heard the gunshots ring out. He saw the flashes and immediately dropped to the ground and pulled the person down next to him. And then he saw an opportunity. And so he got up and he decided to pursue the shooter. And I asked him last night what went through his mind the moment he made the decision that he was going to go after the shooter. I want to play what he said and also how he described the scene. Take a listen.
I wasn't thinking. I just ran over there, got him. I got to kill this guy. He's going to kill my kid. He's going to kill my wife. He ended up killing my daughter's boyfriend. Pull the dude down, pin him against the side, and just started, I think he went for his pistol. I don't know, either way, I grabbed the pistol from him. And then I told the guy, move the AR, the kid in front of me, he was at his head. I said, move the AR, get the AR away from him. And the kid did it. And then I started wailing on this dude. And I'm on top of him. I'm a big dude, man, and this guy was bigger. And I just kept wailing on him. And I told the kid in front of me, kick him in his head, keep kicking him in his head. I'm yelling 911, somebody call 911.
And I also asked Fierro, how does this compare to his experience fighting overseas? And he told me it is the same thing, except he chose to go to war, and the people in Club Q did not choose what happened to them. Joe?
That happened right here in America. Now, Priscilla, at the news conference, officials said the Department of Justice is looking at all aspects of the case. So what should we expect next moving forward as the investigation and the court proceedings move forward?
Yeah, so the Department of Justice is continuing to investigate for any potential federal crimes here. As you mentioned, the suspect is in custody. He has been arrested under suspicion of 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of a bias-motivated crime. The district attorney says that once the suspect is released from the hospital, he will appear via video in court, after which the DA's office will formally file those charges. And the DA says he expects all of that to happen in the next several days. Joe?
All right, Priscilla Thompson reporting from Colorado Springs. Priscilla, thank you.
Now, we just heard from one of those heroes inside Club Q, and this morning other survivors are also sharing their stories. Here's NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson.
A spectrum of sadness as police released the names of 5 victims killed in another senseless mass shooting. Ashley Paugh, Derek Rump, Kelly Loving, Raymond Green Vance, and Daniel Aston. Daniel's mother says he had an uncanny ability to uplift.
He lit up a room. Yeah, it's this old expression, but he really did. Always smiling, always happy.
As bursts of gunfire drowned out Club Q's booming music and cheerful shouts morphed into panicked screams, survivor Ed Sanders says he walked right into the path of the gunman.
The shooting started and I got hit in the back. Then he fired another volley and I got hit in the leg and then I went down.
But even as Sanders recovers in the hospital, he remembers the woman laying next to him and a group of survivors banding together to save lives.
I could hear people calling for tourniquets and the lady next to me was shot pretty badly and we were trying to keep her breathing.
That community spirit is no surprise. Ed says he went to Club Q for the same reason everyone does. For the LGBT community, it felt like home.
Club Q has been my home for 20 years.
But right now, a place of shock and mourning.
It was just really, really, really scary.
Bartender Michael Anderson says he was barely able to hide.
I saw like a silhouette of a person coming in and I saw them holding a rifle or a gun or like a long gun. And the pops kept happening. So I jumped beneath the bar, and as I did that, glass was flying all around me.
Anderson says the chaos suddenly stopped when 2 patrons rushed the shooter, an act he says is the reason why he's still alive.
I don't know who stopped him, but I'm grateful because they most certainly saved my life.
Sanders is now on a long road to recovery, including another surgery, but so desperately wanted to speak and to say this.
I want people to just show some love to the LGBT people in their lives.
Thanks to Steve Patterson for that report. Now, community members say they're not only mourning the lives of the lost, but they've also lost a safe space. But they say also that this is a wound that they can heal from.
Let's bring in Brandon Wolf for more. He is a survivor of the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting and is the press secretary for Equality Florida. Brandon, good morning. I know tragedies like this reopen a lot of wounds, so we appreciate you taking time to speak with us. First and foremost, just what's been going through your mind since Sunday morning?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. You know, a lot of things have been going through my mind. As I've shared with other folks, the first thing that I felt was a deep sense of grief. It was like I was transported back to June 12th of 2016. And I imagine I learned the same way that people learned about our tragedy, with panicked phone calls and text messages, people trying to check on those on the ground in Colorado. My heart was broken immediately for a community that's been terrorized and shattered, for people who are going to have an empty seat at their Thanksgiving dinner table this week, for folks who are going to have missing faces at the holidays this year. And then that quickly turned into anger, into fury. And I think that's where the rest of the LGBTQ community is. I'm so angry that we are in a country, that we're in a situation where LGBTQ people have been under assault for years, where the right wing has been pummeling the country with this misinformation, trafficking in some of the darkest and ugliest tropes about our community. They've accused us of posing a threat to children simply because we exist on planet Earth. And all along, we warned them that dehumanizing an entire community like that would have inevitable consequences, that someone would have to pay the price for that. And now we have 5 people who went to a space that was supposed to be safe for them and came out in body bags. We have dozens of people who are injured. We have an entire community who's going to be putting the pieces back together. They're paying the price today, and they will pay the price for the rest of their lives because of this unmitigated, unchecked hatred. So my heart continues to break for that community. My heart goes out to them. I'm here for them, anything that they need. And I'm also deeply angry today for a community that has been warning people that when you traffic in those tropes, when you spew that kind of unmitigated hate, somebody has to pay the price for that.
Let's try to humanize the community. 2 bystanders are being hailed heroes for stopping the suspected gunman. That includes a drag performer who used their high heel shoe to subdue the gunman. I know I got emotional when I first heard that detail. The heroism involved, but also just so sad that it was even needed. I mean, what does this say about the bravery of the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, I've read that person may also identify as a trans woman. And so it's sitting deeply with me that, this is who our community is. We're all we've got. Our community has, at every point in time when our backs are against the wall, chosen each other. We've risen up, we've locked arms, we've refused to be erased, we've pushed back against hatred, and of course, we've made progress as a result. Think about where this community has come from. The Stonewall riots were a resistance against police violence. They were loading people in the back of cop cars, and the community wasn't taking it anymore, and so they fought back. You think about moments when, we were being terrorized and demonized and dehumanized like this, and we stood on the steps of court buildings and held hands and said, our love is love. It deserves to be recognized just like everyone else's. This community is strong. This community is resilient. You heard people talk about family and home in those interviews. That's because we deeply care about each other, and we understand that we're never going to truly find happiness and joy. We're never going to be free of discrimination and violence unless we refuse to leave anyone behind. So I have every faith in the world that this community is going to be as strong and united and undeterred as ever.
And Brandon, what does that mean you're looking for in terms of support? I mean, it's absolutely amazing to hear you say that that's what you anticipate will be the truth for this community. But what does that mean you're looking for from federal leaders on the state level, that type of thing, to give people support?
Yeah, there's a number of things that we need from our partners. The first one is resources. Obviously, people are going to need help. And I think one of the things we learned after the Pulse nightclub shooting is that people need help in ways you don't expect them to. People are going to come home after having spent nights in the hospital, and they're not going to have any fresh food in the refrigerator. Their car maybe is still impounded by the FBI as they continue their investigation. They're going to need help to get food on the table. People are going to need access to mental health resources. We had those resources available for about 3 years after the shooting here. And then when we went back to the state government to have those resources funded moving forward, Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed that funding 2 years in a row. So we're going to need leaders on a state level, on a local level, and on a federal level to continue those mental health support resources for the years to come, because this is not just a 1 or 2 year process. This is a many-year process. They're going to need help along the way. And then the other thing is, just as a country, as a society, we've got to lean in. We've got to offer this community and our own LGBTQ communities at home the support that they need right now. We are, as a whole, as an LGBTQ populace, we are grieving right now. We are deeply afraid. We are, we want to live. We want to live free of discrimination and violence. And that's going to take allies stepping up, going to bat for us, saying we love you, we care for you, and we will protect you.
Absolutely. Very quickly, before I let you go, I do want to just ask you about the work you're doing. We mentioned you work for Equality Florida, a political advocacy group that fights for the civil rights of LGBTQ people in the state of Florida. What's your work been like there?
It's hard. It's hard to be an LGBTQ person in the state of Florida when you have a governor in Ron DeSantis who has been trafficking in anti-LGBTQ animus to help build his political career. But I'll tell you that people here are undeterred as well. I'm given a lot of hope by the young people who walked out of their schools demanding better, safer, more inclusive classroom environments. I'm given a lot of hope by the parents of trans kids who refuse to back down. It's hard work, but it's rewarding work. And I know that a better future is possible.
Brandon Wolf, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can stay on top of the latest developments on this story with live updates the moment they come in at NBCnews.com.
Now let's switch over to the holiday travel rush. It's underway with tens of millions of Americans expected to fly to their Thanksgiving destinations this year. And that's bringing air travel back to nearly pre-pandemic levels. But airlines are still operating on reduced schedules. So what can you expect if you're heading to the airport for the holiday? NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra joins us now from Washington International Airport in Baltimore with some tips. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy almost Thanksgiving. So first, just tell us what you're seeing. How busy is it in this airport, and what should travelers be looking out for if they're maybe heading out today?
Good morning. So we've certainly seen some lines. However, anecdotally speaking, I did talk to a few gate agents just to ask how normal this was. And they said, we're not quite seeing the holiday crowds here at BWI yet. However, don't get your hopes up, because when we spoke to experts, they say they're expecting all of the crowds to look like what they did before the pandemic. However, the kicker here is the airlines are working with 13% fewer flights. So we went to our travel expert to get some tips on how to make your Thanksgiving travel experience just a little bit smoother.
Airports are going to be slammed this year, so absolutely arrive early. In general, about 2 hours before your flight should give you enough time. But if you're checking bags, and if you don't have TSA pre-check or clear, you might want to even go as far as 3 hours in advance. Bring games, bring snacks, and a good attitude.
Always a good idea to arrive early, and of course, always a good idea to bring snacks. Now, between air travel and between travel on the roads and travel on tracks, experts say we're expecting about 55 million people to be traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. Well, you know what? A good attitude's free, so there you go, right? You just gotta power through. But you know what makes it tough to have a good attitude is when your flight is super delayed or ultimately canceled. We saw a ton of that over the summer. Are we anticipating it to be okay through the holiday rush? How are airlines working to improve on that?
So, yes and no. I mean, everyone remembers just how chaotic it got. I mean, the last year we've covered so many stories of flight cancellations, flight delays, and then even lost luggage as a result of staffing issues. That was a huge, huge part of all of this. Well, airlines are saying that they're equipped for the holiday rush. They say they've hired more pilots, and then Delta says they've increased boarding time. Of course, all of this to say, the real answer is only time will tell.
All right, Marissa, thank you so much.
I feel like a lot of people this morning are tuning in for our morning news now weather.
I think so too, Michelle Grossman.
The most popular.
Time to shine, baby. What a thing to know, especially with how many people are actually going to be driving also.
I know, there's a lot, right? But it's so exciting. It's like the biggest day tomorrow. The good news is weather's looking pretty good. And that's very, very rare. I feel like this week is always so busy. Valentine's Day week, we always have a storm too. But no big blockbuster storms. We are looking at some showers in the state of Florida. We have a stationary front that's bringing some showers today. Could be heavy at times, could see a thunderstorm or two. Some of these showers could creep up into Georgia, also South Carolina. But this is more of a nuisance storm, and this will be out of here tomorrow. We're going to clear that out tomorrow. And then we have another storm system that's going to move into Texas. That's going to bring some rain in eastern Texas tomorrow. And then notice by Thanksgiving, this is when things begin to change. So Thanksgiving, we get a little bit wetter. And then also on Friday, we do have some storms up and down the East Coast. But let's start on Thanksgiving because we're looking at storms, some showers, heavy at times in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, into Louisiana, Arkansas, the lower Mississippi Valley. We could see those showers stretching. Notice we do have brighter colors. That's indicating where we're going to see the heavier rainfall. And that certainly is a possibility. The reds, the oranges, the yellows through Texas, also Arkansas, Louisiana, into Mississippi. We are looking at some heavy, heavy rain. And then as we go throughout after that, we're looking at storms into the Northeast. So otherwise today, we're looking at a wet and windy Pacific Northwest. So those are two wet spots, Florida and also the Pacific Northwest. Otherwise, we're looking really good. We have high pressure in control. It's chilly, not as chilly as we have been, and we're looking at temperatures moderating. The southern plains still below normal this time of year, but yesterday we had 30s and 40s on the map. Now we're looking at 59 with some sunshine in Oklahoma City, so that's good news. Dallas, it's going to be cloudy, 59, 57 in San Antonio, but notice in Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, a really nice day, getting closer to average. New York City, your average is about 53 this time of year, so looking pretty good, 55 in D.C. And then as we look towards that Pacific Northwest storm, we're looking at higher elevation snow, some mountain snow. Could see up to 12 inches, a foot of snow in some spots, some lower elevation rain. Heavy rain in Seattle and Portland. This will move into the Rockies tomorrow and then eventually into the southern plains. That's where we're looking at that rain in Texas by tomorrow. So pinks and purples on the map indicating that higher elevation snow, but the skiers are happy there. So that's good news. Yeah. We need the rain there too. We're in a drought. So just two minor systems right now, which is good.
Wow.
I know.
I feel like I haven't heard you say something like that.
We approve.
In a long time. Yeah, exactly. Check. Are you guys traveling?
No, but lots of people are incoming to me right now. Right. Some yesterday, some today, some tomorrow. Yes, I am. I know. All right. Just found a 19-pound turkey yesterday. Woohoo!
We have no idea what to do.
We're going to talk about how to do something with it later in the show, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Cook it safely. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Speaking of turkey, 2 turkeys are now free birds just in time for Thanksgiving, thanks to an annual White House tradition.
That's right. President Biden excused the lucky birds. I think they have some of the best names that I've ever heard, named Chocolate and Chip in this year's Thanksgiving turkey pardon.
The votes are in. They've been counted and verified. There's no ballot stuffing. There's no foul play. The only red wave this season is going to be a German Shepherd Commander who knocks over the cranberry sauce. And now, based on their temperament and commitment to being productive members of society, I hereby pardon. Yes. I hereby pardon Chocolate and Chip.
Chocolate or Chip there responded to that. A little gobble to go with the pardon there. The event kicked off the president's holiday festivities along with the First Lady. He later traveled to the Marine Corps Air Station in North Carolina to thank those stationed there during a Friendsgiving. Are you going to name your turkey? Because it wasn't pardoned, so maybe not.
Not my featherless bird that's frozen.
Right.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.